Hey, what's up guys? So we are going to be talking about the best trap cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! This is not only going to be an informative video, but it's kind of open to discussion. So if you have any card suggestions, hey, definitely let me know and we can talk about some of them. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, some of the best trap cards in the game right now are at 1. These cards would be Solemn Warning, Bottomless Trap Hole, and Torrential Tribute. Although Torrential Tribute was at multiple at one point, last format it was at 2. Bottomless Trap Hole was also at 2 for like the longest time. And I honestly felt like it was going to 3 to support the Trap Tricks archetype, but unfortunately it went down to 1. So as some of you players know, these are much faster trap cards. These basically get rid of the problem as soon as it comes out, whereas cards like Dimensional Prison and Mirror Force, they're just a little bit slower. And now that Heavy Storm is gone, a lot of players are interested in playing more traps because you don't have to worry about Heavy Storm. The problem is that sometimes, even if you set a bunch of your trap cards like Dimensional Prison and Mirror Force, they just aren't able to activate fast enough to get rid of your opponent's, stuff. Whether they go for a Big Eye and take your monster, at that point you've already lost a bunch of advantage. Or if they make something like a Draco Sack, and basically at that point they're unaffected by Mirror Force. They'll just lose, well, there's no way the token's in attack position. But anyways, yeah, they're just too slow in the game. Another great addition, a lot of players are familiar with this card, Fiendish Chain. This card is absolutely fantastic, especially if you're playing a deck maybe that can bounce back certain things, whether it's like Zephyros or DeLorean. You can bounce back Fiendish Chain and keep on abusing this. So if any of you players are unsure of what to main deck as far as traps go, you've already maxed out. You've got your Solemn Warning, you got your Bottomless, you got your Torrential Tribute, you've got your Compulse, which is also another fantastic card, but it's also at 1, so you can't play 3 Compulse, unfortunately. Fiendish Chain is a fantastic card. Not only can you abuse it in some decks, like I said, that have Zephyros or DeLorean or anything that just bounces back cards, or if you're playing the Beast God Vulcan, the Divine one, you can bounce this card back and then reuse it. So there's a lot of utility with Fiendish Chain. Plus, I wouldn't say that there's a deck where Fiendish Chain is like bad against. I mean, every deck, whether it's even if it's Dark Worlds that don't have effects that you really need to negate, it's more so just preventing the monster from attacking. This card has just a awesome amount of utility. So this is really the card that I would suggest a lot of players to play instead of Dimensional Prison and Mirror Force. Whether you're new into the game or you've been playing for a while and you took a break, you're jumping back into the game, this card just it stops a lot of decks. It really does, and it's just overall a fantastic card. But there's also 2 cards that I briefly want to talk about, which I think have a great effect on a lot of meta decks, although there are some matchups where you can't really use these cards. So, Mirror of Oaths and Black Horn of Heaven. These get rid of the monster or problematic card as soon as it comes out. And right now in the game, basically some of the best monsters are pretty much XYZs. I mean, Synchros are great and all, but I would say there's a lot more broken XYZ monsters than there are broken Synchro monsters in the game. I mean, XYZs are the new thing, and there's always some new XYZ that just completely wrecks the game, like, for example, Big Eye Draco Sack. There's also the Felgrand Dragon. There's also going to be more cards like the Noble Storm that actually just came out, and there's going to be a lot more in the future. So Black Horn of Heaven, to me, I feel like this is like the hidden gem right now of the trap cards. I mean, if you're going to be matched up against a good player, more than likely they'll be playing something meta, and more than likely they'll be either synchroing or XYZing. More than often they'll be XYZing. But this still also stops inherent special summons. Anything, say like Darkharm Dragon, Judgment Dragon, this card just stops it, and you don't have to pay that 2,000 life points, because there are so many times where maybe you just don't have the life points, or you simply lost because you just paid too much life points and they summon some small monster and they just finish you off for game. Whereas Black Horn of Heaven, you don't have that downside. Although Black Horn of Heaven cannot stop things like Call of the Haunted or something like Monster Reborn, remember, it can only stop inherent special summons. Something that is inherent, meaning it's not special summoned by an effect. Something like Abyss Megalo that is an effect, so you can't Black Horn of Heaven him, unfortunately. But there's this other card called Mirror of Oaths, which I think is really good right now, especially the way the game is looking. Whether it's something like Temperance, whether it's something like a Lin that special summons a monster from the deck. There's also Heretics, they special summon something from the deck. Not only does this get rid of the monster, but it also lets you draw 1 card, so that puts you at a significant advantage. Sure, Black Horn of Heaven is technically faster, so they can't, trap stun you, they can't Forbidden Lance you or anything like that, but Mirror of Oaths allows you to draw that card, and that is huge in the game of Yu-Gi. I mean, Torghite is technically also at 3, so maybe you can decide if you want to, if you have a bad matchup against something that just special summons monsters from the deck. This is just a fantastic card. It's it's really good against Heretics, is really what it comes down to. It's a fantastic side deck card because I like the aspect of drawing an extra card. So not only, like I said, you get rid of the problem, but you also maintain, you know, advantage, and your opponent is technically at disadvantage. This card is also great against Heretics, you know, because whenever they go for their, you know, Synchro Summon, or basically the Heretic Ruler deck, I mean, that's kind of the more popular version of Heretics, especially since, you know, Art has been the card that people want to run right now. This card is just fantastic. It ruins them. That deck really does lose to back row. There's also this card, Mistake. Pretty much any meta deck is going to be adding cards from their deck to their hand. But the thing is, this kind of stops both players. So if you're playing Spellbooks and, you know, maybe you're playing Mirror Match, I would not even recommend side decking this because this will also hurt you. But maybe if you're playing a deck where you want to maintain more control, you're not a deck that actually likes to add cards from the deck to the hand, maybe you're playing an anti-meta deck or something along the lines of that, then yeah, Mistake definitely is a great card to main deck. You know, if you guys didn't see the Harpy deck that Jeff Jones and Billy Brick played, they actually, well, one of them main deck 2 of them, another one main deck 3 of them, because this card is just fantastic against a lot of meta decks, because so many meta decks right now, especially the way the game is going, every deck is just insanely fast, and to be able to counteract that if you're playing a slower deck, something like Harpies, where, you know, you don't necessarily need to add those cards from their deck to their hand, plus you always have the option with the field spell to just destroy Mistake, and then go off with a Hysteric Sign, or, you know, do whatever you need to do to add the cards and, you know, OTK your opponent, or, you know, Hysteric Party, pretty good card, right? But, like I said, this is just more so a video to help you guys, you know, decide on what trap cards you want to play. I would say these are, Mistake and Mirror of Oaths are more so, in my opinion, I would find them to be a better side deck option. But if you're playing something like Dimensional Prison and Mirror Force, and you end up losing because of them, and you're like, you know, I want to play other trap cards, but, you know, Bottomless unfortunately is at 1, or Torrential's at 1, Compulse is at 1. Fiendish Chain, I would say, is the go-to card. I mean, this card is at 3 right now. I'm not sure if it'll get hit in the future. I mean, who knows? Basically, just as a, like, reminder to you guys that are, like, new into the game, basically how they work the ban list is, once one player decides to run like one card, like Book of Moon was an excellent example. Book of Moon and Cold Wave was an excellent example. That card was at, those cards were at 3 for like the longest time. Then once everyone starts playing them, they start limiting them because people figure out, you know, they just hate getting Book of Moon, or they hate getting Cold Wave is on another story. Book of Moon, on the other hand, is kind of like a defensive utility card, and it stops XYZs and synchros and stuff like that. But, you know, for the longest time, Book of Moon was at 3, and then, you know, once everyone started playing 3, it was at 1. But, you know, it might happen with Fiendish Chain. Who knows? It might happen with Black Horn of Heaven, because the way I see it is Black Horn of Heaven really stops XYZs and synchros, and pretty much the most expensive cards in the game usually tend to be the best XYZs and synchros in the game. So who knows? Maybe this card will be the card that everyone starts playing 3 of, because, like I said, pretty much every meta deck is going to be XYZing, whether it be, you know, right now or in the future. But if you guys felt like I missed out on any really awesome trap cards that you can use against a majority of decks, whether it be something against the meta or just in the side deck, hey, let me know in the comment section below. I know there's cards like Goes and Match and DNA Surgery. I don't feel like those cards are the best in the main deck. I'm looking for more so cards that you would be able to main deck, because, like I said, a lot of meta decks, you know, Mirror of Oaths conditional, but against a lot of meta decks, they special summon from the main deck. Same thing with Mistake. It's just, it hits a lot of the meta stuff, and same thing with Black Horn of Heaven. It's really what I'm coming down to, is being able to run these trap cards that you can main deck and still be effective, because if you get matched up against Bujin, Black Horn of Heaven might not be the best card, but, you know, nonetheless, they still go for XYZs with the Bujin Carnation. But like I said, this is a discussion video, so hey, let me know your thoughts below, and if you felt like I missed out any good trap cards that we can main deck in Yu-Gi-Oh!, hey, definitely let me know. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Asian Eyes out.